Hey, Shalom, Call Hello, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Rachakodash, the ones of the apostles of Great Millstone, Shalom to you brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, and continually fighting the good fight of faith. Lord willing, we are all found in that number. All right, so Elder Apostle Tahar had put out a decree that, we start to revisit, Acts the 10th chapter with Cornelius, concerning Cornelius, because once again, there are still people out there who believe that Cornelius is an Edomite. All right. Now, I'm going to say this, you can't blame these men. You can't blame these men because we understand and know that all inspiration and spiritual and wisdom comes from Yahweh Bashmi Yahweh Shai. Okay. And if they clearly, at this point in time, here it is about to be 2022, if they haven't received it now, Yahweh Bashmi Yahweh Shai doesn't want them to receive it at all. And I speak as a man, but that's just my take on it. We're talking from the 90s to 2022. All right. That's over 30 years. So once again, it's all through the spirit of Yahweh Bashmi Yahweh Shai, who receives and who doesn't. All right. So with that, I'm gonna hit a couple quick points. This ain't gonna be very long, but Lord willing, brothers are edified. All right, so Acts chapter 10, verse 1, it says, there was a certain man in Caesarea called Cornelius, a centurion of the band called the Italian band. All right. Now, keep in mind, one's occupation doesn't determine his nationality. And this is exactly what we have concerning Cornelius in the introduction of Cornelius. Okay. We're speaking of a man who worked for the Roman military. He was most likely a man in charge of other men, okay, which is a band of soldiers, right? But the key point is in verse 2, all right? It says, a devout man and one that feareth the Most High with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to the Most High always. Okay? That right there should pretty much wrap it up for anybody who has any doubt concerning Cornelius's nationality. All right? There's not going to be any devout Edomites and one that feareth the Most High. It's just not coming through that way. Okay? And giving much alms to the people. I mean, once again, why is the Edomite going to come give much alms to the Israelites? Why is that? Okay. Now I'm gonna finish it up on verse 3, and it says, he saw in a vision, evidently about the 9th hour of the day, an angel of the Most High came unto him, and saying unto him, Cornelius. All right. So when the angel of the Lord went unto him, he was being beckoned by the Lord, saying Cornelius. Now, once again, if you men out there still perceive that Cornelius is an Edomite or any other heathenistic nation, then the Lord just has clearly blinded you from not receiving this, man. Which is also a scary thing, man. Which is also scary because to know that Cornelius, the seed, he was the man that actually set the whole ball in motion for the ushering in of the Gentiles. All right. So from there, let's go to Matthew, the 10th chapter. All right. Because the sentiment is this: a man's occupation doesn't determine his nationality. All right. So this is Matthew, the 10th chapter. And I'm going to start at 2. It says, now the names of the 12 apostles are these: The first Simon, who is called Peter, Andrew his brother, James the son of Zebedee, and John his brother, Philip and Bartholomew, Thomas and Matthew the publican. So let's hold it right there with Matthew the publican. All right. Now, what is a publican? A publican is one who collects taxes. And not only is he one who collects taxes, but when you go to the blue letter, which we're going to do here, okay, this is G5057 for publican. All right. So let's just go down and read it. It says, a renter or farmer of taxes. Among the Romans, usually a man of equestrian rank. Okay? So Matthew had some type of rank with amongst the Romans. The Roman employment, if you will. All right? Now check this out. It says, a tax gatherer, collector of taxes or tolls, one employed by the publican or farmer generally in the collection of taxes. The tax collectors were as a class detested not only by the Jews but by other nations also, both on the account of their employment and of the harassment, greed, deception with which they did their job. All right. Now, once again, you had Israelites who migrated amongst different nations, different peoples, different cultures, who took on, their philosophy, so to say, or worked in their ranks, if you will. All right. So now here we have Matthew, who was what? One of the apostles who was a publican, who was a tax collector, and was hated by the Jews. But here he is, numbered amongst the 12. Now, is he an Edomite? Is he an actual Roman because he worked for the Romans? No. One's occupation does not determine his nationality. All right? And this should be crystal clear to you. All that's happening in from the book of Matthew all the way to the book of Revelation, all the things that are taking place and all the things that are happening, all the prophecies, all the gathering, all the speak about the dispersed, all that speak about the Gentiles being brought back into the fold, the olive tree, the branches, all these things that are being spoken. All right? You have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. And it takes a spiritual eye to do so. All right? And it says, James, the son of Alphaeus, and Lebbaeus, whose surname is Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. Now it says Simon the Canaanite. All right? So when I first had read that, I thought, well, wait a minute. He's speaking of one of the sons of Ham, But when you get into that word Canaanite, let's get it. So just for edification purposes. Okay. That word is G2581. And it says Canaanite equals zealous. And it says a surname of Apostle Simon, otherwise known as Simon Zelotes. All right. So technically that should say Simon Zelotes. And when you read down here to the Strong's definition, it says Canaanites, Canaanitas, of Chaldee origin, compared to each 7067, Zelotes or zealous. All right, that's that word. H7067 is zealous. Okay, Canaanites, epithet, Canaanite, and it says in parentheses here, by mistake for derivative of G5477. Okay, so basically, Simon the Canaanite should be Simon Zelotes. He was a zealot. All right, and that's just for edification purposes. But once again, one's occupation does not determine your nationality. And this is a real big thing. Now, when the Yahweh Shai let it be revealed back in the time of, when the apostles were on the scene, Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Gabar in particular, Elder Apostle Rakar, Elder Apostle Ramlab, it was brought out. And still, even then, men couldn't receive it. Some men receive it now, but I even question that, man. Some of these men who proclaim they receive it, I think it's just a smoke and mirror show. But be that as it may, once again, I speak as a man, those are my thoughts. But continuing on. So let's go a little further down the line. All right. So the Apostle Paul, excuse me, the Apostle Paul, who was set up as the apostle to the Gentiles, right? Now let's just open up this map real quick. Oh boy. Things just never can be easy. All right. So here the Apostle Paul went into Italy. All right. Now, was not Cornelius of that Italian band? Because you had Israelites all over the place, man. Even up in Rome. Okay? All through Italy, Sicily, Malta. Well, actually, he not through Malta, but he went to that island over there. That's where he got bit by the viper when he was speaking with the barbarians. All right? But nevertheless, Israel was all up in Italy, man. So it shouldn't be any surprise when we speak and hear about Cornelius being of the Italian band. Jake was all over the place, man, seeking employment, living amongst them, but even still, a lot of the brethren, such as Cornelius, kept the laws, man, kept the laws of the Father, of our fathers. Feared the Most High, gave alms to the people, was well respected of the people. Because keep in mind, some of the centurions who were Israelites, who was bringing hell on Israel, man, just because they were like taskmasters. And when the Apostle Paul, matter of fact, let me see if I can get that. Let me go here. All right. This is Acts 22 and 28. Just getting right to the point here. Let me see. Let me find it. All right, so this is Acts 22, and I'll start at 24. And it said the chief captain commanded him to be brought into the castle, and bade that he should be examined by scourging, that he might now wherefore they cried so against him. Can you see this shit? 1 second. And it says, verse 25, it says, and as they bound him with thongs, Paul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? All right. So now these two centurions, I believe, are to be Israelites, just by the conversation that now is going to take place. Now Paul's questioning them, is it lawful for you to do these things? Because Paul was a very wise man. All right. And these two centurions probably didn't understand or realize who Paul was. All right. So check it out. It says, when the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. Okay? So now you have these two Israelites talking back and forth. Oh shit, this man's a Roman. We better be careful. Because they weren't actually, true Romans. They was, working under Roman authority. And like I said, you had Israelites who worked for Roman authority as taskmasters, bringing heavy fucking burdens on Israel, doing Israel dirty. And this is why it's spoken of Cornelius having a good rapport with the people. A lot of those centurions were probably assholes, just like you have today. You get pulled over by a Jake, he want to fucking rub you the fucking hardest, man. All right. So it says, when the centurion heard that he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. So in other words, you got to be careful, because if he's a true Roman, that's our ass. 27. Then the chief captain came and said unto him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, yea. And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained I this freedom. And Paul said, but I was freeborn. Okay? So these two Israelites are going back and forth. Paul explained to him, I was freeborn, but that this Israelite centurion was saying to Paul, with a great sum have I obtained this freedom. All right? So keep in mind, just because these centurions are of the Roman army, if you will, that doesn't mean that they're Edomites. Okay? A true Roman is not going to sit there and tell the Apostle Paul, I obtained, my freedom for a great sum. He's not going to tell him that. Why would a true Roman say, I obtained my freedom of a great sum amongst his own people? Okay? All right, so I just wanted to hit that quick point that when the Apostle Paul was speaking to the centurions, they also were Israelites, just like Cornelius of the Italian man, who also was an Israelite. Your occupation does not determine your nationality. All right. So from there, okay, so the Apostle Paul was all up in Italy. Why? Because there were Israelites all up in Rome. All right. Now we're going to come to the last one. And this is Acts the 8th chapter. Let's start at about the 26th verse. No, but we'll start at the 26th verse. And it says, and the angel of the Lord spake unto Philip, saying, arise and go toward the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem unto Gaza, which is desert. And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, an eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasures, and had come to Jerusalem for to worship. Okay, so now once again, a man's occupation does not determine his nationality. Now you have an Ethiopian eunuch, right, who worked for the queen. But wait a minute, he's coming to Jerusalem to worship. You don't hear anybody making a fuss about this. You don't hear anybody talking about he's a Hamite, he's an Ethiopian, he's a heathen. Now they give you more detail here, but it's just as much detail when you read about Cornelius. He feared the Most High. He gave alms. He and his household. He prayed to the Most High. I mean, what more do you need? What more proof do you need? All right. So now the Ethiopian eunuch, was he an actual Ethiopian? All right, that just decided to what? Pick up the word. Now let's keep reading. He says, he was coming to Jerusalem to worship, was returning and sitting in his chariot, read Isaiah the prophet. So now we have an Ethiopian eunuch reading the book of Isaiah. What sense would it mean for a true Ethiopian eunuch to be reading the book of Isaiah? All right. Verse 29. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near and join thyself to this chariot. Now, why would the Spirit lead him to this chariot? And in keeping in mind, like we said at the outset of the lesson, the things that were happening, all right, the gathering and the waking up and the bringing of the Israelite foreigners or the Gentiles into the fold. Okay? So when the Spirit told Philip to join himself unto the chariot, what was said? And it says, verse 30, and Philip ran thither to him and heard him read the prophet Isaiah and said, Understandest thou what thou readest? Okay, he asked him, Understandest thou what thou readest? You understand what you're reading? And what did he say? And he said, How can I, except some man should guide me? And he desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. Okay? And the place of the scripture which he read was this: He was led as a sheep to the slaughter, and like a lamb dumb before his shearers, so opened he not his mouth. All right? So this is where the eunuch was reading when Philip joined unto the chariot. All right, so to sum up this whole lesson, Cornelius, because he was of the Italian band, because he was, let me bring it back so we can see it. Because he was of the Italian band, because he was centurion, that doesn't mean he was an Edomite. He had an occupation. Likewise, if a brother goes over to Europe, right, they're going to say, oh, he's an American. He works at, American Textiles over in, North Dakota. Does that mean you're no longer an Israelite? You see how this works? And even to this very day, I can go somewhere and they can call me the Bostonian. Does that mean I'm not an Israelite? Likewise, brothers over in Texas and New York, all over the place. Oh, he's a Texan. Does that mean he's no longer an Israelite? Oh, he's a New Yorker. He's a Floridian. Does this mean we're no longer Israelites just because we're being called by the place where we live or by the job that we do? All right? So all in all, man, if you men don't understand it and can't receive it by this point, Yahweh Shem Yahushai just does not want you to understand it, man. And there's no fault to you, but the Lord kept it from you for a reason. I know when I first heard this, there was no doubt in my mind that this man Cornelius was an Israelite. Just no doubt. It was natural. It felt natural. It sounded natural. And I couldn't perceive it any other way. The water Yahweh Shem Yahushai for giving me the eye salve and the spirit to receive it. All right? So I'm going to end it right there. But I just wanted to do a quick take on Acts the 10th chapter concerning Cornelius, the Israelite, who was a centurion, who was in charge in the Italian band, who was a devout man, and who feared the Most High, and gave alms to the people always, and prayed always to the Lord. All right, so Lord willing, brothers are edified, and I say shalom.